There is a doorway in your life that you may have walked past 1,000 times. A doorway that opens not with effort, but with a single new thought. If you are here, it's because life is gently guiding you back to that doorway now. You may think miracles are rare, reserved for the lucky, the chosen, the spiritual elite. But miracles are not accidents. They appear the moment the mind stops repeating old pain and becomes willing to imagine something kinder, freer, more possible. Let me ask you softly, what if the miracle you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to think differently? What if one shift, one thought of worthiness, one whisper of I can, could change the entire direction of your day, your body, your future? Maybe you've carried the same thought for years. I'm not enough. Life is hard. Things never work out for me. These thoughts feel familiar, but they are not truth. They are habits, and habits can be replaced gently, one breath at a time. Imagine this moment as a reset, a moment where your mind becomes a garden, again fertile, ready, open. Even one seed of a new belief can grow into a miracle if you give it sunlight, attention, and the permission to take root. Your body hears your thoughts. Your life responds to them. When you choose a thought that nourishes instead of wounds, the universe shifts with you. Doors loosen, tension fades, opportunities rise from places you thought were barren. So breathe deeply now. Feel the space inside you where a new thought could land softly, safely. Let it be simple, loving, believable. I am open to miracles. I am worthy of miracles. I create miracles with my thoughts. Repeat it gently, without force. You don't need to believe it fully yet, just allow it. The miracle begins the moment you give your mind permission to think a kinder thought. There is a quiet moment in every life when we finally pause long enough to hear the truth whispering beneath the noise. This moment is happening for you right now. A miracle does not require a grand gesture or a dramatic shift in circumstance. A miracle begins the instant we become willing to think a kinder, more loving thought. One thought is all it takes to begin turning the direction of your life. For so many years, you may have believed that your thoughts simply happened to you, that they were facts, that they were reflections of who you were. Yet every thought is a choice, even the ones that feel automatic. They are choices shaped by old stories, old wounds, old fears. When we feel powerless, it is because we are repeating thoughts that were handed to us, not chosen by us. I learned long ago that the mind is astonishingly obedient. Whatever seed we plant, it will nurture. If we plant thoughts of fear, we live in a garden of anxiety. If we plant thoughts of love, we live in a garden of peace. You may have tended the same emotional garden for years, but the moment you plant a new thought, the soil shifts beneath your feet. There is a deep comfort in knowing that nothing in your past can prevent a miracle. You do not need to have lived a perfect life. You do not need to understand how healing works. You do not need to believe fully. You need only be willing. Even the smallest willingness opens a crack in the mind, and through that crack, light pours in. Each time you think a thought of limitation, I can't, I'm stuck, things don't change for me, your body contracts, the shoulders tighten, the chest closes, the breath shortens. These physical responses are not signs of failure. They are signs that the body has grown tired of fear. The body longs for relief, and relief comes the moment you choose a gentler thought. A miracle does not arrive through effort or strain. It arrives through openness. It arrives when we stop insisting that life can only move in one direction. It arrives when we stop replaying old injuries. It arrives when we look at ourselves with compassion rather than criticism. It arrives when we say, even timidly, perhaps something good is possible for me. There is a place within you, a quiet, bright center that has never been harmed by life. No matter what you have endured, this inner place remains whole, untouched, radiant. It is the place from which new thoughts rise. It is the place where miracles begin. When you allow yourself to return to this center, even for a moment, you feel the truth. You are not broken. You are simply awakening. So much of what you call truth is merely repetition. A thought repeated long enough feels like a fact. If you tell yourself that you are unworthy, you live as though it is true. If you tell yourself you are powerless, you experience life through that belief. But imagine what would happen if you repeated a different thought. I am worthy, I am capable, life supports me. At first, these thoughts may feel unfamiliar, almost foreign. That is natural. New thoughts are like new pathways in the mind. They must be walked again and again before they feel comfortable. But each repetition plants the seed deeper. Each repetition builds strength. Each repetition moves you closer to the miracle unfolding within you. Most people believe they must change their entire life before they can feel better. That is not true. You change your life by changing your thoughts. The outer world rearranges itself around the inner world. The moment you choose a new thought, you begin to alter the energy you live from. You begin to shift what you attract, what you notice, what you expect. In my own life, miracles began the moment I decided to stop believing everything my mind told me. I learned to question the thoughts that caused me pain. I learned to say, is this really true? I learned to ask, what else might be possible here? These small questions open the door to enormous transformation. The miracle you seek is not far away. It is not hidden. It is not being withheld. It is waiting patiently for your readiness. And readiness begins with one gentle inward whisper. I am willing to think a new thought. Let that be your beginning. Repeat it softly. Feel how your heart responds to it. Feel how your breath deepens around it. Feel how your mind becomes a little more spacious. Your miracle is not in the future. Your miracle is in this moment. Your miracle is in your next thought. And you, dear one, are ready. There comes a moment in every healing journey when we finally turn toward the thoughts that have kept us limited, not to fight them, not to judge them, but to understand them. Every fearful thought you have ever carried began as a way to protect yourself. It was the mind's attempt to shield you from pain. And now, as you grow in awareness, you can see that many of these thoughts no longer belong in the life you are creating. So many of the beliefs you hold today were formed long before you had the tools to question them. You absorbed them from the atmosphere around you, your home, your caretakers, the emotional climate of your early years. Children listen with their hearts. They interpret silence, tone, tension, and absence. You may have learned without any words being spoken that love was uncertain, that approval had to be earned, or that comfort was not always available. These beliefs planted thoughts that whispered, be careful, don't hope too much, don't expect anything. Stay small so you won't be disappointed. And those thoughts became familiar, not because they were true, but because repetition made them feel safe. But now, dear one, you are awakening. You are beginning to recognize the difference between familiarity and truth. A thought repeated 1,000 times is not a fact, it is simply a habit. And habits can be changed. As you begin to question these old thoughts, something subtle yet powerful happens inside you. You reclaim your authority. You stop letting old stories speak for you. You begin to hear your own voice, quieter but wiser, softer but more aligned with your spirit. When an old thought rises, I'm not enough, nothing ever works out for me, I can't change, pause, take a breath. Instead of believing the thought, become curious about it. Say inwardly, where did you come from? Or is this really mine? Or does this still serve me? These questions loosen the thought's grip. They bring it out of the shadows and into the light where it can be seen clearly. You may discover that many of your limiting thoughts were formed from moments of hurt, moments where you felt alone, misunderstood, or unseen. The child you once were had no choice but to make meaning out of those experiences. But the adult you are now has the power to reinterpret them. A thought that protected you at age 7 may be imprisoning you at age 30, 40, or 50. And that realization is not cause for regret, it is cause for celebration. Because it means nothing is wrong with you, you are not flawed, you are not slow to grow, you are simply maturing into a deeper awareness. Release comes when you understand that these old thoughts were never an accurate reflection of your worth. They were reflections of the emotional environment you grew in, and you are no longer in that environment. Let that truth move gently into your body. You are not the child who had to brace themselves. You are not the teenager who felt afraid to hope. You are not the adult who repeated the same painful story. You are something far more powerful. You are the one who notices, and the one who notices can choose again. The body holds old thoughts like tiny knots of tension. When you think a painful belief long enough, it settles into the shoulders, the jaw, the chest, the belly. This is why releasing old thoughts often feels like releasing stiffness from the body. You are loosening not only the belief, but the emotional contraction that came with it. Place your hand on your heart now. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. Breathe into that space. Imagine your breath as soft light melting the old thought at its root. You don't need to push. You don't need to rip anything out. Just imagine softening, softening, softening. That is how the mind unlearns. Some thoughts will rise again out of habit. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. The mind does not change because you demand it. The mind changes because you create a new atmosphere for it, one of safety, patience, and love. Whenever an old belief tries to return, speak kindly to yourself. Say, this is an old thought. I don't need you anymore. Let the thought pass like a cloud drifting across the sky. You do not need to cling to it, and you do not need to push it away. You observe it, you breathe, you release. Let's go even deeper now. Behind every limiting thought is a deeper emotional need. The thought, I'm not enough, often hides a longing for approval. The thought, nothing ever works for me, hides a longing for safety. The thought, I can't change, hides a longing for support. Instead of believing the thought, respond to the need. Say, I am here with you. Say, you are safe now. Say, we can try again, gently. Say, you are not alone anymore. This is the true release, not forcing the thought to leave, but meeting the part of yourself that believed it. You may feel tears rising as you do this work. Tears are not weakness. Tears are release. Tears are your body letting go of beliefs that were too heavy to carry. Let them come. Let them soften you. Let them wash away what no longer belongs. Release also comes from forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. Forgiveness for the people who shaped your early beliefs. Forgiveness for the moments when you stayed in patterns longer than you wanted. Forgiveness does not excuse anyone's behavior. Forgiveness frees you from carrying the pain forward. Say quietly, I release you. I release me. I release this thought. I release this story. And notice the opening that follows the tiny doorway inside your chest where light begins to enter. Old thoughts may have shaped your past, but they do not need to shape your future. You are no longer living unconsciously inside them. You are waking up. You are choosing. You are stepping into a life that reflects your truth rather than your fear. And that, dear one, is the miracle already beginning. There comes a moment in every transformation where the old thoughts have softened enough for something new to take root. This moment is tender, sacred, and powerful. It is the moment when you begin choosing your thoughts consciously, not from fear, not from habit, but from love. This is where the miracle truly begins to bloom. You are not trying to rebuild your entire mind all at once. You are simply learning to plant one new loving thought again and again, until it becomes the foundation of your inner world. New thoughts do not need to be grand or dramatic. They simply need to feel like relief. They need to feel like truth spoken softly. A new thought might sound like, I am willing to believe. Or maybe I am worthy after all. Or even, I can try a kinder way. These thoughts open the door for life to support you, and life always supports a mind that is opening. Old thoughts were rooted in fear. New thoughts are rooted in possibility. Old thoughts tighten the body. New thoughts soften it. Old thoughts repeated the past. New thoughts create the future. You may wonder where to begin. Begin with the thought that brings you the most relief in this moment. Not the thought that sounds the most spiritual. Not the thought that feels the most ambitious. Choose the thought that soothes your heart right now. You might say, I am learning, or I am trying, or I am open. These gentle thoughts become like sunlight for your inner garden. They warm the soil. They encourage new life. They remind your body that change is safe. Let us explore how powerful a single new thought can be. Imagine you have repeated all your life, I can't. Your body contracts at the thought. Your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. Now imagine replacing it with, I can try. Feel the difference. Feel how your body responds. Feel the slight expansion inside your heart. That subtle shift is a miracle beginning. Your new thoughts do not need to be perfect. They simply need to be kinder than the old ones. When you plant a new thought, say it slowly. Say it like you are speaking to a child who has been waiting years to hear these words. Say it with warmth. Say it with sincerity. Let it fill the quiet spaces inside you. Say, I am worthy of good things. Feel how your body reacts. Does your chest soften? Does your breath deepen? Does your inner world feel more spacious? This is the miracle widening inside you. Thoughts grow through repetition. The mind learns through repetition. Healing grows through repetition. Every time you repeat a new thought, you strengthen it. Every time you choose a loving thought over a fearful one, you feed the miracle instead of the limitation. This is why I encourage affirmations. They are not magic spells, they are loving seeds. Affirmations spoken with presence reshape the inner landscape. You are not forcing belief, you are inviting it. You are not demanding change, you are allowing it. You are not correcting yourself, you are nurturing yourself. Look into the mirror, even for a moment. See your eyes. See the person who has survived every moment of your life. Speak gently to them. Say, I love you. I am listening to you. I am willing to believe in you. The mirror reveals where the mind still resists and where the heart is ready to open. Do not rush it. Do not judge it. Simply show up for yourself with consistency and care. New thoughts often feel fragile at first, like new seedlings. They must be protected from old doubts and fears. When an old thought tries to push its way back in, gently redirect your mind. No, dear one, we are thinking differently now. Say it kindly, not sternly. Your mind responds best to kindness. Let us go deeper into the emotional power of new thoughts. A new thought does not simply change your mind. It changes your vibration. You begin to invite new experiences. You begin to notice new opportunities. You begin to feel aligned with the flow of life rather than resisting it. This is because loving thoughts are in harmony with the universe itself. Fearful thoughts separate us from life. Loving thoughts reconnect us to it. Every new thought you choose is an affirmation of your worthiness, an affirmation of your potential, an affirmation of your ability to change your life. You learn thought by thought to trust yourself again, to trust your inner voice, to trust life, to trust love. This is how miracles grow quietly, steadily, joyfully. Let me give you a few thoughts to plant today. Take whichever ones feel warm in your chest and repeat them gently throughout your day. Life loves me and I am learning to love myself. I am open to wonderful possibilities. My thoughts create my freedom. I choose thoughts that support my healing. I am beginning a new chapter with my mind. Say them slowly. Let each thought land inside you like a soft promise. At some point, the new thoughts will feel more like home than the old ones. The moment you notice that shift, even if it is brief, you will feel it. The sense of something unlocking inside you, the gentle inner exhale, the recognition of truth returning. This is the miracle unfolding. It begins with one thought, just one, and you have already begun. Once a new thought begins to take root, it becomes a living thing inside you, something tender, something precious, something worth tending with, patience and love. A miracle is not a single event. A miracle is a relationship you build with your mind, your heart, and your willingness to grow. And like any relationship, it deepens through daily devotion. You do not have to change your entire life overnight. You do not have to transform every thought or master every emotion. What you are being asked to do now is much simpler and much more powerful. Show up for yourself each day with intention. Even the smallest loving habit, repeated gently, becomes the foundation of profound change. Begin each morning with one quiet moment for yourself. Before the world pulls you into its rhythm, place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Feel the warmth of your palm. Feel your breath rising to meet it. Say softly, "This is a new day, and I am choosing thoughts that support my healing." These words set the tone for your entire day. The mind, when it first awakens, is like soft clay, impressionable, open, receptive. When you begin the day with a loving thought, you guide the mind toward peace. You remind yourself that you are not a victim of your old habits. You are the gardener tending your inner landscape. Throughout the day, bring your attention back to your breath. Your breath is a faithful friend. When you inhale, you invite new energy into your body. When you exhale, you release the tension that no longer belongs to you. Each breath becomes a cleansing, a reset, a return to yourself. Whenever you notice an old thought rising, an echo of fear, a familiar doubt, a harsh inner voice, pause. Take one slow breath. Say inwardly, "I choose again." Then gently replace the old thought with a new one. This is not about perfection. It is about kindness. It is about remembering that you have the power to redirect your mind. Nurturing a miracle is like nurturing a flame. If you feed it, it grows brighter. If you neglect it, it dims. But even the faintest ember can reignite with a single breath of love. When you repeat positive thoughts, you are feeding the flame. When you speak to yourself gently, you are protecting it from the winds of old habits. Speak lovingly to yourself throughout the day. Say, "I am learning." Say, "I am doing well." Say, "I am willing to change." These simple sentences become powerful affirmations when spoken consistently. The body responds beautifully to your new thoughts. Muscles loosen, the heartbeat slows, the breath grows deeper. When you think lovingly towards yourself, your entire physical being relaxes into trust. Healing happens most easily in a relaxed body. You may notice that as you nurture your inner miracle, your outer world begins to shift. People respond differently to you. Opportunities appear in unexpected ways. Circumstances soften. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. As your inner world becomes more peaceful, your outer world begins to reflect that peace. There will be days when you feel deeply connected to your new thoughts, days when everything flows easily, when your heart feels open, when your mind feels clear. These are beautiful days. Celebrate them. Let them affirm your progress. And there will be days when old patterns rise again, days when doubt returns, when fear whispers, when your mind feels heavy. These days are not setbacks. These days are invitations. Invitations to practice the new thought, to strengthen it, to prove to yourself that you can remain loving even when the mind is tired. Every time you choose a loving thought on a difficult day, You strengthen your miracle more deeply than you ever could on an easy day. Healing is not about perfection. Healing is about consistency. Every loving thought matters. Every choice to pause matters. Every moment of awareness becomes a thread in the tapestry of your transformation. Create small rituals that support your journey. Perhaps you light a candle each evening and say a gentle affirmation. Perhaps you place notes of encouragement around your home. Perhaps you journal one kind thought before bed. Perhaps you look into the mirror and whisper, "I am proud of you." These rituals are not trivial. They anchor your new beliefs in the physical world. They turn intention into action and action into embodiment. Remember that nurturing your miracle does not require force. It requires presence. It requires patience. When you water a seed, you do not shout at it to grow faster. You trust the process. You trust the soil. You trust the sunlight. You trust the seed's natural intelligence. Your mind has that same intelligence. Your heart has that same wisdom. Your spirit has that same timing. You are becoming someone new, not all at once, but thought by thought, breath by breath. As you continue nurturing your miracle, you will begin to notice subtle but profound shifts inside yourself. Moments that once felt heavy begin to feel lighter. Situations that once triggered fear begin to feel manageable. Areas of life that once felt blocked begin to open. This is the miracle revealing itself not through force, but through devotion. And as you tend to your miracle daily, you begin to discover another truly beautiful truth. You are becoming the miracle itself. There comes a time in your healing when the miracle is no longer a distant hope. It becomes the quiet rhythm of your daily life. You begin noticing subtle shifts in your thoughts, tenderness in your voice, softness in your heart. You begin recognizing that the miracle is not something arriving from the outside. The miracle is the person you are becoming inside. A miracle is not magic. A miracle is awareness. A miracle is willingness. A miracle is choosing love where fear once lived. When you have practiced new thoughts long enough, you begin to feel yourself changing from the inside out. You no longer react the way you once did. You no longer believe the old stories so easily. You no longer shrink yourself when doubt arises. Instead, you pause, you breathe, you choose again, and this choosing over and over becomes your strength. You may find yourself smiling more easily. You may feel moments of gratitude appearing like unexpected sunlight. You may experience small joys where you once felt tension. These are not coincidences. These are signs that your inner world has shifted and the outer world is responding. The universe always responds to your inner state. When your thoughts change, your vibration changes. When your vibration changes, your life changes. People may treat you with more respect because you have begun treating yourself with respect. Opportunities may arise because you have become willing to believe they exist. Life may feel more cooperative because you have stopped pushing against it. You are learning to move with the current rather than against it. There is a humility in realizing that life was never withholding miracles from you. The miracles were waiting for your permission. They were waiting for you to soften the walls around your heart. They were waiting for you to allow ease instead of insisting on struggle. A miracle is simply what happens when you stop repeating the thought that kept the door closed. You begin to trust your own mind. You begin to trust your intuition. You begin to trust that loving thoughts lead to loving experiences. You begin to see the unfolding of your days, not as random events, but as reflections of your inner growth. I want you to imagine now how your life feels when miracles become natural. Imagine waking in the morning without dread. Imagine moving through your day with an ease that comes from knowing you are guided. Imagine feeling a deep sense of belonging within yourself, not because everything is perfect, but because you trust yourself to navigate whatever comes. You are stepping into a life that feels lighter, not because the world has changed, but because you have learned to release the thoughts that once weighed you down. You have learned to plant new thoughts that nourish your soul. You have learned to nurture those thoughts with patience and love, and now you are ready to live from them. This is not a temporary transformation. This is the beginning of a new way of being, a way of living, where your mind is an ally, your heart is your guide, and your spirit is the source of every miracle you experience. You will still have moments of doubt. You will still encounter challenges. But now you have tools. You have awareness. You have compassion for yourself. You know how to pause. You know how to breathe. You know how to choose again. That simple phrase, choose again, is the doorway to freedom. When fear rises, choose again. When old thoughts return, choose again. When you feel overwhelmed, choose again. When you forget your worth, choose again. Each loving thought is a step on the path toward miracles, and there is no thought too small, no shift too subtle, no moment too insignificant. Miracles are built from the smallest choices repeated with devotion. As you step into this new chapter, I want you to carry a thought with you that has shaped my entire life. Life loves me. Let it anchor your mornings. Let it soothe your evenings. Let it guide your choices. Let it hold you when you forget. Let it remind you that you are supported in every moment, in every breath, in every thought. Life loves you, dear one. Life celebrates you. Life welcomes your awakening. Life responds to your willingness with infinite generosity. You are one thought away from a miracle, not because miracles are far from you, but because they live inside you, waiting for your permission to unfold. And now, in this moment, with this breath, with this awareness, you have given that permission. You are stepping into a life where miracles feel natural. You are stepping into a life shaped by truth, love, and intention. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And I am so very proud of you. There is a profound shift that happens when you stop thinking of miracles as rare events and begin seeing them as natural reflections of the way you think and feel. When your thoughts change, your life changes. And now you are learning how to live each day in alignment with the new thoughts you have planted. This is the stage where the miracle becomes your way of life, not an occasional surprise. Think for a moment about the person you were before you began this journey. That person may have carried a heavy sense of responsibility, a fear of disappointment, a habit of self-criticism. They may have approached each day with caution, waiting for something to go wrong. But the person you are becoming now approaches life from a different place, a place of openness, trust, and inner stability. Alignment means that your outer actions begin to reflect your inner truth. You no longer move from fear, you move from clarity. You no longer say yes when your heart says no. You no longer shrink to fit old versions of yourself. You move with integrity, not the kind the world demands of you, but the kind your soul asks of you. Your new thoughts are building a new identity. A thought like I am worthy begins shaping how you walk into a room. A thought like life supports me begins shaping how you make decisions. A thought like I am willing to receive good begins shaping the opportunities that flow to you. These thoughts are not decorations. They are foundations. Give yourself time to adjust to this new identity. You are stepping out of an old energetic wardrobe and trying on something more spacious, more beautiful, more true. At first, it may feel unfamiliar. You may notice moments where your old beliefs try to pull you back. That is natural. The old mind does not disappear overnight. But now you have tools. When an old thought arises, you do not collapse into it. You recognize it, you breathe, you stay present. You choose the new thought instead, and each time you choose the new thought, the old one loses a little more strength. Living in alignment also means becoming conscious of the energy you allow into your life. If you have spent years around people who repeat limiting thoughts, their energy may feel familiar, but it is no longer nourishing. You are not judging them. You are simply choosing something healthier for yourself. You may feel called to spend more time in silence. You may feel drawn to nature, to journaling, to soft music, to warm baths. These are not indulgences. These are invitations, invitations to strengthen your new vibration. The body is learning to. Your shoulders may rest more easily. Your breath may deepen without effort. Your heart may feel less guarded. These are signs that your inner world is trusting your new thoughts. As your alignment grows, you begin making decisions not from fear, but from love. You choose relationships that feel nourishing. You choose opportunities that feel expansive. You choose words that feel honest. You choose rest when your body needs it. You choose joy without guilt. Let me tell you something important. When you change your thoughts, you give life permission to change with you. Situations that once felt stagnant may begin to move. Doors that once felt closed may begin to open. People who once felt distant may show up differently. You may find yourself feeling more hopeful than you ever thought possible. This is the miracle integrating into your daily life. As you continue aligning with new thoughts, you become more sensitive to anything that feels like the old energy, not because you are fragile, but because you are growing stronger. Imagine moving from a dimly lit room into a bright, sunlit space. Once you see the light, you cannot pretend it is dark. Once you feel your worth, you cannot believe you are unworthy. Once you taste peace, chaos no longer feels familiar. This is why alignment matters. It keeps you walking in the direction of who you are becoming. Alignment is not perfection. Alignment is honesty. Alignment is presence. Alignment is returning again and again to the thoughts that support your highest good. You might say during your day, I choose the loving thought. I choose the peaceful response. I choose the truthful action. I choose what nourishes me. These choices, small as they may seem, accumulate. They build momentum. They strengthen your miracle. They create a life where peace is not an escape, it is your home. Most of all, living in alignment means trusting yourself, trusting your inner guidance, trusting your intuition, trusting that the new thoughts you planted were not fantasies, they were messages from your soul asking to be lived. Every miracle you experience begins inside you. And now, in this part of your journey, you are learning to live from the source of those miracles, your own consciousness. You are becoming someone who does not wait for life to change. You are someone who changes your thoughts and watches life respond. You are someone who belongs to yourself now, someone who honors themselves, someone who listens inwardly, someone who creates from a place of love. And life, dear one, responds to such a person with open arms. This is alignment. This is embodiment. This is the miracle becoming your everyday reality. There comes a moment in every awakening when you realize you are not walking this path alone. You begin to feel that life is not pushing against you, but guiding you, not judging you, but whispering to you, not withholding from you, but patiently waiting for your readiness. Trust is the bridge that carries you from wishing for a miracle to living inside one. Trust is not blind faith. Trust is a deep inner knowing that you are supported by forces larger than your fears. Trust means that you no longer assume the worst. Trust means you become willing to expect good. Trust means that instead of bracing your body for disappointment, you open your heart to possibility. For so many years, you may have learned to prepare for pain, to anticipate difficulty, to soften the blow of life by assuming things would not work out. But that way of living was a reflection of old experiences, not a prophecy for your future. The universe is not a force you must guard yourself against. The universe is a partner, a helper, a friend. Your thoughts create the invitation. Your trust allows the response. Your openness welcomes the miracle. Imagine now that life is standing beside you, gently placing a hand on your shoulder. Feel the warmth of that presence, steady, loving, patient. Life is not rushing you. Life is not scolding you. Life is simply saying, Walk with me. I know the way. When you trust, you stop trying to control every detail. You stop rehearsing every possible outcome. You stop forcing solutions. Instead, you take a breath and allow clarity to come in its own time. Trust means understanding that you do not need to know everything to take the next step. You only need to know the step that comes now. Trust transforms tension into ease. Trust transforms fear into calm. Trust transforms resistance into flow. Trust transforms your mind into fertile ground for miracles. Let us explore how trust feels in the body. When you trust, your shoulders drop. When you trust, your breath deepens. When you trust, your chest expands. When you trust, your inner world relaxes into openness. The body understands trust long before the mind does. This is why trust becomes a miracle in itself. There is a part of you, a quiet, wise part that already trusts life. This part remembers moments when things worked out unexpectedly, when help arrived without being asked, when clarity came just when you needed it, when a path appeared where there was once no path at all. These memories are the evidence your soul carries. Trust grows when you revisit these memories. Trust grows when you acknowledge the ways life has supported you. Trust grows when you recognize that you have survived every moment that once terrified you. Take a breath and feel the strength of that truth. You have made it through everything. You have grown in every season of your life. You have risen again and again. Trust is not foreign to you. Trust is your nature returning. Now consider this. When you trust life, life trusts you. It brings you opportunities that match your openness. It brings you people who resonate with your new energy. It brings you experiences that nourish your spirit. The universe does not respond to fear with miracles. It responds to willingness. It responds to readiness. It responds to trust. Think of trust as opening your hands. You can't receive anything new when your fists are clenched around old beliefs. But the moment you soften, the moment you let go, the moment you unclench, life flows in. Miracles flow in. When you trust, you start making decisions not from fear, but from alignment. You begin choosing experiences that feel expansive. You begin listening to your intuition, that quiet voice that knows what is right long before the mind catches up. You begin living from your center rather than your wounds. Trust also means understanding that delays are not denials. Sometimes the miracle needs time to gather itself. Sometimes the miracle needs you to become a person who can hold it. Sometimes the miracle is forming behind the scenes, even when you cannot yet see it. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. You do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You water it. You give it sunlight. You trust the process. Your desires are no different. They are seeds planted in the garden of your consciousness. They need love, patience, and trust. There may be moments when doubt returns. That is natural. The old mind likes to test the new one. When doubt arrives, breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Say gently, I choose trust. You are not lying. You are choosing. And choosing becomes believing. Let us explore the deeper meaning of becoming a partner in your own miracle. A miracle is not something done to you. A miracle is something done with you. Life provides the energy. You provide the thought. Life provides the opportunity. You provide the willingness. Life provides the path. You provide the step. You and life are co-creators, not adversaries, not strangers, partners. When you understand this, you stop waiting for miracles. You begin participating in them. You participate by choosing thoughts aligned with your highest good. You participate by trusting the guidance you receive. You participate by releasing fear when it arises. You participate by loving yourself enough to believe you deserve good. You are no longer the passive observer of your life. You are the conscious creator of your experience. Trust turns your life into a conversation with the universe. You speak through your thoughts. Life responds through your circumstances. You clarify your desires. Life opens the path. You soften into trust. Life expands your possibilities. When you live this way, miracles stop being extraordinary events. They become your natural way of moving through the world. You wake with gratitude. You walk with confidence. You breathe with ease. You expect good. You receive good. You create good. And through this trust, you discover the most miraculous truth of all. Life has always been for you, and now, finally, you are for you too. There comes a moment in spiritual growth when you realize that every shift, every change, every healing, and every miracle has been leading you toward one truth. You must learn to love yourself. Not politely, not conditionally, not in fleeting moments when things go well, but consistently, generously, with the same devotion you once offered to everyone else. Self-love is the soil in which all miracles grow. Without it, new thoughts cannot root deeply. Without it, trust cannot stabilize. Without it, healing cannot be sustained. Life has always loved you. Now you are learning to love yourself in return. Think for a moment of how you speak to someone you truly cherish. You speak gently. You listen. You encourage. You forgive quickly. You admire their strengths and overlook their flaws. You treat them with tenderness because your heart sees their beauty. Now imagine speaking to yourself with that same tenderness every day, in every moment, in every breath. Self-love begins with acknowledgement. I matter. I am worthy of kindness. My needs deserve attention. My heart deserves protection. My life deserves joy. These simple recognitions begin healing wounds that may have been carried since childhood. Many people were never shown how to love themselves. They were taught to serve, to please, to be strong, to be quiet, to minimize their needs. But none of these lessons were truths. They were coping strategies. Your true nature has always been love. You were born knowing how to love yourself. Life is helping you remember. Let us go deeper into the meaning of self-love. Self-love is not indulgence. Self-love is not ego. Self-love is not selfishness. Self-love is alignment with the energy of life itself. When you love yourself, you align with the very source that created you. You become receptive to good. You become magnetic to miracles. You become a vessel for healing. Self-love changes the way you think. You stop entertaining thoughts that harm you. You stop allowing fear to guide your decisions. You stop repeating the old stories that kept you small. Self-love changes the way you move. You walk with more openness. You breathe with more ease. You rest without guilt. You choose relationships that honor your heart. Self-love changes the way you receive. You stop pushing away support. You stop minimizing your desires. You stop apologizing for existing. Self-love is the miracle becoming you. Now place your hand gently on your heart and feel the warmth of your own presence. Feel the quiet pulse beneath your palm. This heartbeat has carried you through every moment of your life, through joy, through sorrow, through confusion, through awakening, and it has never stopped loving you. Say gently, I am learning to love myself. You do not have to be perfect at it. You simply have to be willing. Willingness is the beginning of every miracle. You may notice resistance rise when you speak lovingly to yourself. Perhaps an old inner voice whispers, you don't deserve this, or you haven't done enough yet, or self-love is selfish. These voices are not your truth. They are echoes of people who did not know how to love themselves either. When an old voice rises, speak to it softly. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe now. I am allowed to love myself. You cannot fight unloving thoughts into silence. You can only dissolve them with love. Now imagine standing before a mirror, not as an exercise in criticism, but as an act of devotion. Look into your eyes and notice the life within them. Notice the history, the endurance, the hidden softness. This is the person who has walked with you through everything. This is the person you are learning to love. Say, even if your voice trembles, I am worthy of love. Say it as though your inner child is listening, because they are. Your inner child has been waiting for these words, waiting for your love, waiting for your approval, waiting for your gentleness, waiting for you to return to them with open arms. When you love yourself, you heal generations of unloved hearts. You change your lineage, you change your future, you change the vibration of your entire life. Self-love makes space for the miracle to stay. Without it, miracles appear and fade. With it, miracles become your natural state. Self-love is choosing thoughts that nourish you. Self-love is choosing relationships that support you. Self-love is choosing rest when you are tired. Self-love is choosing joy without guilt. Self-love is choosing forgiveness when you stumble. Self-love is not an act you perform. Self-love is the way you exist when you finally remember who you are. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not your old thoughts. You are not your fears. You are the awareness behind them. You are the love beneath them. You are the light shining through them. You are the miracle unfolding. As this self-love strengthens, something extraordinary happens. You stop waiting for others to validate you. You stop depending on circumstances to bring you peace. You stop seeking approval from places incapable of giving it. Your love becomes self-sustaining. Your worth becomes unquestioned. Your peace becomes unshakable. You become the miracle. And life, recognizing your new vibration, responds with more love, more ease, more synchronicity, more beauty. You begin to attract people who reflect your new thoughts. You begin to experience opportunities that feel aligned with your soul. You begin to live from a place of deep inner trust. This is the state in which miracles flow effortlessly, not because life has suddenly become easier, but because you have stopped resisting your own goodness. Self-love is the greatest miracle of all, because from it, all other miracles are born. And now, dear one, you are awakening to that truth. There comes a moment in your healing when you stop asking, where is my miracle? And instead realize, with a deep, quiet knowing, I am the miracle. This recognition does not arrive through effort or force. It arrives through clarity, through gentleness, through the soft unfolding of your inner work. You begin to see that the miracle was never outside you. It has always been the light within you, waiting to be uncovered. A miracle is not an event. A miracle is a shift in perception. A miracle is what happens when you see yourself differently. A miracle is the moment you stop identifying with your wounds. A miracle is the moment you stop repeating the old story. A miracle is the moment you feel your worth as something unshakable, holy, and eternal. You have spent so many years believing that life happens to you. But now you are beginning to understand that life happens with you. Every thought you choose, every intention you set, every feeling you nurture becomes part of the sacred dialogue between your consciousness and the universe. This dialogue is where miracles are formed. Miracles do not arrive from the sky. Miracles rise from within. Miracles are born from your willingness to think differently, to feel differently, to see yourself with new eyes. When you change the lens through which you view your life, the life you view changes. When you say, I am worthy, the world reflects worthiness back to you. When you say, life supports me, the path beneath your feet becomes smoother. When you say, I choose love, fear loses its authority. This is not magic. This is alignment. You begin to see that every relationship in your life shifts as you shift. People may still behave as they do, but you experience them differently. You no longer look to them to validate your worth. You no longer carry their emotions on your shoulders. You no longer interpret their reactions as reflections of your value. You begin seeing from a higher place, the place where you know your own goodness. When you live from this place, life feels different, softer, lighter, more fluid. You become less reactive and more responsive, less fearful and more empowered, less wounded and more open, less bound by old patterns and more aligned with your inner truth. Now let us explore a deeper dimension of this miracle. Your intuition awakens. As you release old thoughts and embrace new ones, your inner guidance becomes stronger. You begin to sense which direction is right for you. You feel the difference between fear and intuition. Fear is sharp, urgent, constricting. Intuition is quiet, steady, supportive. When you calm the mind, intuition rises like a gentle tide. You may begin noticing subtle signs, a phrase you needed to hear at just the right moment, a person who arrives with help without being asked, an idea that comes in a flash of clarity. These are not coincidences. These are the universe responding to your new vibration. Your miracle becomes a partnership. You choose loving thoughts. Life responds with loving experiences. You choose clarity. Life responds with guidance. You choose trust. Life responds with ease. This is the dance of co-creation. There is something else that begins to unfold as your awareness deepens, your emotional body becomes more stable. Feelings that once overwhelmed you become easier to navigate. You no longer drown in fear or spiral into doubt. Instead, you recognize emotions as passing waves. You allow them to rise. You allow them to fall. You return to your center. Your center is where the miracle lives. This center is not a place you must travel to. It is already within you. It is the quiet place beneath the noise. It is the presence beneath the thought. It is the awareness behind the emotion. It is the part of you that has always been calm, whole, and untouched by fear. No matter how chaotic life becomes, this center remains. And each time you choose a loving thought, you return to it. As you deepen into this awareness, you begin to see yourself not as a person trying to create a miracle, but as someone who is a miracle, a living, breathing expression of life's love. Your existence is miraculous. Your ability to think, choose, heal, and transform is miraculous. Your willingness to grow is miraculous. You discover that your life has never been separate from the divine flow. You simply forgot. But now you are remembering your worth, remembering your power, remembering your connection to something greater. Your miracle becomes your identity. Not the identity shaped by past wounds, but the identity shaped by truth. The truth that you are lovable, valuable, and guided. As this realization grows, your relationship with the future changes. You stop viewing the future with dread or anxiety. Instead, you begin to approach it with curiosity and openness. You trust that life is preparing beautiful things for you. You trust that you can handle whatever comes. You trust that your current thoughts are shaping a brighter tomorrow. This trust transforms the way you live today. You move through life with more grace. You speak with more honesty. You choose with more clarity. You love with more confidence. You forgive with more ease. Most importantly, you begin treating yourself as someone who deserves miracles, not occasionally, but continuously, because you do. You always have. And now, finally, you are beginning to believe it. Your miracle is not a moment. Your miracle is you aligned, awakened, present, and willing. And that makes everything possible. There is a moment in every transformation when everything becomes clear, not because the world has changed, but because you see your life differently. You see your past differently. You see yourself differently. And in that clarity, you awaken to a profound truth. The miracle you were seeking has already begun within you. You did not receive this miracle from outside forces. You awakened it from within your own consciousness, with your willingness, with your openness, with your gentleness toward yourself, with your courage to think a new thought. A miracle is not something life gives you. A miracle is something you become. Now, as you stand here with a quieter mind and a softer heart, you begin to sense your own radiance. There is a glow around you, not visible to the eyes, but unmistakable to the spirit. It is the glow of a person who has remembered their worth. It is the glow of someone who has returned home to themselves. You are no longer living on autopilot. You are awake, awake to your thoughts, awake to your power, awake to your connection with life. In this awakening, your past is no longer a weight. It becomes a teacher, an old tapestry woven with lessons that brought you precisely to this moment. You no longer look back with resentment. You look back with understanding, with compassion for the person you once were. You see the frightened child who learned to protect themselves with limiting beliefs. You see the young adult who tried so hard to earn love through perfection. You see the tired versions of yourself who whispered, "Maybe I'm not enough." And you wrap each of these versions in the warmth of your present wisdom. You say to them, "You were always doing your best. You were always worthy. And now I am here to love you." This is the miracle of inner reconciliation, the moment when every part of you is welcomed home. Life feels different when you no longer abandon yourself. Life feels gentler. Life feels more supportive. Life feels like a partner rather than a challenge. You begin to see signs of alignment everywhere, moments of synchronicity, little bursts of clarity, unexpected blessings. These are not accidents. They are the universe responding to your new vibration. Your thoughts have changed. Your energy has changed. Therefore, your life is changing. You begin to appreciate the subtle magic woven through ordinary moments. A warm glance from someone you love, a soft breeze on your skin, a quiet thought that brings peace, a moment of gratitude that comes without warning. These small moments are the stitches that bind your new consciousness into reality. Miracles are not always dramatic. Sometimes the greatest miracle is waking up in the morning and realizing you feel peaceful for no particular reason. Sometimes the miracle is noticing your shoulders are no longer tight. Sometimes the miracle is realizing your first thought of the day was gentle. These are signs that the miracle has taken root. There is a deeper spiritual truth your heart is now ready to hold. Life has always been on your side. Life has always wanted to bless you. Life has always been guiding you home to yourself. Even in your darkest moments, life was not abandoning you. Life was calling you inward. Life was preparing you. Life was shaping you into someone who could hold the miracle with both hands. Now you are ready. You are ready to live as someone who trusts life. You are ready to live as someone who trusts themselves. You are ready to live as someone who knows their worth. You are ready to live from love rather than fear. From this point forward, everything changes, not because circumstances shift instantly, but because you meet them with a new consciousness. If a challenge arises, you breathe and choose a new thought. If an old fear returns, you soothe yourself with compassion. If uncertainty appears, you trust the unfolding. If doubt whispers, you remember your truth. You do not go backward. You do not lose your miracle. You grow deeper into it. Let me speak to the highest part of you for a moment. The part that remembers everything, the part that is eternal, the part that has guided you even in silence. You are divine. You are infinite. You are powerful beyond measure. There is nothing you are missing and nothing you need to prove. Your very existence is a miracle. Allow that truth to wash over you. Allow it to sink beneath your ribs. Allow it to anchor itself in your bones. Allow it to become the foundation of your life. You are not here to struggle endlessly. You are not here to doubt yourself. You are not here to shrink or hide or apologize. You are here to shine. You are here to expand. You are here to express love. You are here to create from the power of your mind and the wisdom of your heart. The miracle is not in the future. The miracle is not something you must earn. The miracle is the person you have become. Aware, loving, open, trusting, and aligned. As you move forward, carry this affirmation with you like a lantern. I am a miracle, and my life reflects my awakened mind. Say it softly. Say it with breath. Say it until your cells recognize it. Say it until your heart melts into it. Say it until your life shapes itself around it. Life loves you, dear one. And now, finally, beautifully, you love yourself. This is the true awakening. This is the miracle made whole. This is the beginning of the rest of your life.
So